Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto has ultimate power and developed a few special abilities, part 3. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And now let's start the fanfic. Down the hall, he first stops at his guest room and finds it has a new bed, plain white walls, and the classic amenities you would expect. The bathroom, that used to be rusted and dirty, is clean and organized. It has new tile floors that continue halfway up the cream-colored walls. His sink is new and larger than his old one, with a blue carpet in front of it as well as new curtains for his shower. Lastly, he enters his own bedroom, which is the second largest room. When he enters, he notices a queen-size bed with navy blue sheets and comforter. Next to his closet is a desk with ink, scrolls, brushes and what looks like books on everything from jutsu creation to basic poisons and anatomy. On the other side of his bed is a bookshelf that contains all his old books, but they seem to be new additions instead of his beat-up ones he found in the garbage. Sitting on the chair by the desk seems to be a pair of blood-red pajamas with a note. Naruto then read the note, and he couldn't help but to shed a tear. I know this doesn't repay the debt I owe you, Naruto-kun, but I hope it's a start. I have allowed you to be alone for too long, and I will make sure to end it. This new apartment is under Anbu protection now, and will be guarded against vandals. The money I gave you today will last you the rest of your life if you haven't checked it yet. The books I left you should help, since I've heard that you have been kicked out of the shinobi library before, and that you don't sleep very much. Other than that, study hard and make your mother and father proud. The Sandaime Hokage. P.S. I took the liberty of destroying the orange jumpsuits. If you don't hate me in the morning, meet me around the same time and I'll take you to buy new clothes and proper shinobi equipment. When Naruto finished reading the note, he had made his final decision on two things. 1. He would never doubt the Sandaime again, just like he would never doubt Iruka or Kyuubi. The old man had done something that only those two had done before, care for no reason other than to care. He had also made the decision to follow in his mother's footsteps. She had left him her life's work, and he would be damned if he was going to disappoint her after just meeting her. She left her dream for me. I will prove that her scrolls work and become a great medic in Hokage. I will not fail this, or her. He was once again staring intently into his mother's photo. Just as I thought, Naruto-kun, I wanted you to choose this on your own. Learning medic techniques will help you greatly and we begin your study of them tonight. After dinner, start reading the first scroll and I will help you. Plus, if you do well enough, I'll teach you a special training technique. Defiantly Q, and I can't wait to find out what you're planning. Talking. Demon talking. Thinking. Demon thinking. Jutsu being used. If you see this in between a break that means there is a there. It will be numbered so you can find it listed with my other fics under the name, A Midnight Dream. The S will really have nothing to do with the main storyline other than being a way to express the strength of the relationship between characters. It's up to you if you want to read them or not. And now I will express my current state of not owning Naruto, with interpretive dance. The next day Naruto woke up around 4 a.m., as his new norm is supposed to be. After a shower, he got dressed in his only pair of clothes. With Kyuubi's reminder, he also attached his new weights, which to his surprise, already set to 37 pounds, each. Q said this was a very good start, and that he should progress quickly over the coming months because of his demon body. Then, after a breakfast he headed for his door to start his training schedule that Iruka had handed him the day before. Naruto, this should be a simple schedule to follow. I decided to spread out your training to cover just about everything to be sure you're ready to meet your team. After a few days working on this schedule I'll change it to focus more on your problem areas. 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Run as many laps around the village as you can in this hour. Try to add another lap every day. This will not only help you work on your speed and movement but hopefully finding your own limits. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Work on whatever chakra control exercise you're currently working on. First do the leaf balancing. If this is too easy, do multiple leaves. I will give you the next exercise when you display mastery. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Meet me at training ground number 19 for taijutsu sparring. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Ninjutsu training. You will remaster all 3 academy jutsu during this time. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Full sparring to ensure you can use your jutsu and fighting style efficiently. 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Lunch. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Hitting a log for 30 minutes per limb and keeping track of how many hits you get in that time. Try to increase this every day as well. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. will be free time for me to work with you on whatever you want or are learning. 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. will be resting before you go to the Hyuga. This is exactly how Naruto's day went until his meeting with the Hokage at lunchtime. Inside the Hokage's office. Good morning, Naruto-kun, I see you came after all, said the Hokage with a relieved smile. Of course, who could turn down free stuff? Besides, you took the rest of my clothes, so I really need to shop. Ha ha, well, if that's the case, let's start with the clothes store. The Sandaime pushed a button on his desk and said, I'll be heading out for a while, be sure to hold all my appointments. Hi, Hokage-sama, was the new secretary's reply. Well, let's go, Naruto-kun. Just as the venerable Hokage began to leave, a small boy burst through the door holding a shuriken. He was wearing a yellow shirt with the Konoha leaf symbol, gray shorts, a long blue scarf and a strange helmet with some of his brown hair pulled through the hole in the top. The boy began yelling, I challenge you for the title of Hokage, Gigi. But before the kid could get 5 steps, he tripped on his own scarf, slamming his head into the ground making him wither in pain. Naruto, for his part, could only look on owlishly as the Hokage sighed deeply. Before anyone could say anything, the young boy sat up saying, I get it. It's a trap, isn't it? As yet another man burst through the door wearing a full blue bodysuit, black sunglasses, and a bandana-style Hittite as he asked. Hey, are you alright, honored grandson? And for the record, there aren't any traps here. At this point, Naruto had enough, so he asked, Ji-san, who's the kid and why is he attacking you? After addressing the Hokage in such a way, Naruto had both the kid's and the other man's attention. Who is this guy that he thinks he can talk to my grandfather like that? Thought the boy. It can't be. Don't tell me it's him. Our village disgrace. The so-called human form of the Kyuubi no Yoko. Before the Sandaime could answer Naruto, the boy stood up and pointed at Naruto while screaming, It was you who tripped me. It was you, right? Naruto was already having a strange day, so having some small boy acting like the villagers was too much. As Naruto grabbed the front of the boy's clothing, he simply said, You tripped over your own scarf. If you want to attack someone, don't be stupid enough to announce it. The Hokage was finding this very amusing because, not even a week ago, Naruto would have done the very same thing. The man in blue, however, shouted in horror saying, Naruto. Unhand the honorable grandson of the Sandaime Hokage. After Naruto heard this, he looked between the Sandaime and the kid a few times as the kid thought, just like all the others, if I was anyone else he would have hit me, but as soon as he heard I was the Hokage's grandson, he wouldn't touch me, go ahead, give it your best shot. You won't do a thing knowing I'm the Hokage's grandson. Or are you afraid of me? Naruto, hearing this, just looks at the boy with slightly glowing eyes. I was going to let you go out of respect for Ji-san, but since you seem so stuck up, let me just say this, I don't care if he was your grandmother, you brat. Yelled Naruto as he struck the boy rather hard on the head. As the man in blue freaks out, Naruto simple said, Let's go, Ji-san, this grandson of yours really ate up our time. At the Hokage's nod, Naruto heads out the door, followed closely by the Sandame. As the man in blue turns back to the boy after the shock of someone speaking to the Hokage like that wears off, he found the boy gone again. Once again, Naruto had taken to suppressing his chakra while walking through the village to avoid unneeded attention. Kyuubi still had to aid in keeping the level of suppression constant because Naruto hadn't mastered it yet, but with the chakra control training from Iruka, it was getting much easier. You know, Naruto-kun, you don't have to do that. The villagers would get used to it eventually. Besides, I'm here with you, said the Sandame. I don't agree, Ji-san. It's just easier this way, plus it helps with my chakra control training, replied Naruto. Alright, you win, this time, but only because we're here. Well, go ahead and get whatever you like. Just as Naruto had entered the shop, someone throws a sandal at him only to have it caught by the Sandame. The shop owner and the rest of the patrons were just a little unnerved by this. Not only was the Hokage here, but the look in his eye was chilling. Well, Naruto-kun, it seems they are already trying to give you free merchandise, said the Sandame with a smirk. Right, Ji-san, said Naruto sarcastically. Next you'll be telling me it's okay to let Q out for a walk. After the words left his mouth, everyone in the store backed up against a wall and turned white as a sheet at the idea. Ha ha, now Naruto, I know you could probably do that, but I doubt you would want that because then you couldn't get your clothes or equipment, said the third with a look in his eye that said, drop this now. I guess you're right, I am going to need those for when I get my team. Besides, I doubt Q would go back that easy after the walk anyway. Most likely. Now let's pick out your clothes, and then we can get your equipment from across the street. I've been friends with the owner for years and I know we'll get excellent quality. After the two had their little discussion, the tension lifted for the most part, but it still seemed a good amount people left the store in a hurry. Soon enough Naruto approached the counter to speak with the owner after browsing the aisles. Excuse me sir, could you answer some questions for me? Of SURSE how can I help you? Asked the owner. Naruto raised an eyebrow to the stuttering man. He had never seen open fear of him before, so it was new to him hearing someone stutter out of fear as he asked, I wanted to know if you could get me 2 pairs of sandals like these. One with red trim and one without, but both in black please. After studying the sandals and writing on an order form, it seemed as if the man had entered some kind of salesman mode, giving suggestions of what to buy or what he could use. Naruto was kind of taken back by the man's turn around and comment, this order won't be a problem. I just need you to write down your size and they should be ready by Wednesday. Naruto just nodded happily as he thought over what else to buy. Thank you. Do you sell unmarked flank jackets in colors other than the standard green? Sure. Just add that to your order. I can have any color you want. Could I get dark blue with black trim for those? Asked Naruto with energy in his voice. Of course. How many do you want? 2 please, and could you put my spiral symbol on the back of them in red? No problem, said the store owner. The Hokage then walked up to the two with a playful smile. It sounds like you really know what you want, Naruto-kun, said the Sandame with a chuckle. I've wanted to dress different for years now. This is just my first chance to get what I want, that's all. The orange wasn't bad, but it just isn't for a shinobi. At this, both the Sandame and Naruto share sad smiles. Well, go pick out the rest of your clothes. We need to get to the supply store and back before Iruka comes. Alright, I'll be right back. Naruto then hurries through the aisles and comes back with 10 pairs of black Anbu-style pants, 5 long-sleeved tight black shirts, 5 black t-shirts, socks, boxers, 2 pairs of black fingerless gloves with metal over the knuckles and the back of the palms, and finally he had a long dark blue coat in his arms with the rest of his things. Is that everything, Naruto-kun? Don't you want a little bigger wardrobe than this? Asked the Sandame in all honesty. No, this is enough. It's enough to get me through a week, and if I ever need more, I have somewhere to shop now, said Naruto with a big smile. The shop owner couldn't help but to think about the boy before him with amazement. This is the horrible demon. It's just a kid, I doubt it could kill me, let alone destroy the village. No, this isn't the demon, this is the boy that holds it, just like the Sandaime said all those years ago. I've been a fool. All you have to do is look at the boy to see that. Would you like any other customizing, Uzumaki-san? I could do other things than just put the spiral on the back of the jackets. Really, I did want some other things done, but I didn't want to be rude. Nonsense, as long as you are a return customer, it's no trouble at all. I'm here to make money, after all. If I'm the only place you shop, I'm going to have to work hard to keep you happy and coming back. Both the Sandaime and Naruto couldn't help but to smile softly. I knew my village was better than what I've seen. They are only afraid of what they don't understand. Naruto will be accepted and will be loved someday. It's just a matter of time, thought the Sandaime proudly. Naruto just stood there for a moment before nodding. Then, could you please put my spiral on the back of all the t-shirts? I should wear my symbol even off duty after all. No problem, it should all be done by Wednesday. Now let's add all this up so you can be on your way. 10 pairs of pants, 183 ryo. 10 shirts, 123 ryo. 10 pairs of red boxers, 41 ryo. 10 pair of socks, 26 ryo. 2 pair of sandals, 67 ryo. 2 pair of gloves, 19 ryo, and finally 2 flank jackets, 103 ryo. We'll just waive the customizing charges since it's such a large order, so the total for today is 562 ryo. Finally being able to dress like a real ninja. Priceless, the owner finished with a thought and the biggest smile. But the Hokage looked slightly pale. That's almost the individual pay for a B rank mission, thought the Hokage with a grimace. I suppose I've become too accustomed to having everything provided for me by the living budget I get as Hokage. Naruto, seeing the Sandaime's face, couldn't help but chuckle as he said, "That, Ji-san, is why I only got what I needed. Living alone teaches you to watch your money. Especially when you're overcharged for most things," finished Naruto, receiving a scowl from the Sandaime and the store owner. "Well, that won't happen here. You are always welcome at Kachiru's. I'll make sure everyone here knows too," said the shop owner, newly named Kachiru. "Thanks," was all that Naruto could say, not used to such treatment. One more thing. This coat. Naruto then holds up a long coat that goes down to the middle of his calvin, seems to be made of a soft, blue material with a black hood and the right sleeve missing. It also had one loop over the right side where the arm would be and two over the left side sleeve made out of a black material. What's it for? It looks sort of weird. That coat, Naruto-kun, is meant for a swordsman. The right sleeve is missing to ensure easy movement for the sword arm. The loops over the arms that connect to the coat ensure that the coat will lift with your arms to further aid your free movement, said the Sandaime. Cool. How much is it? And do you think you could customize this too? Ha ha, I'll tell you what, since you're buying so much, it's a free gift. What do you want for it? Thank you so much. Could you put a red kyubi with black outline on the back? Both men were stunned silent by this request until the Sandaime asks, Naruto-kun, why would you want that? I'm going to have to eventually face this, Ji-san. I'm not ashamed of kyubi, I'm proud, and someday, I'll be respected for it. That day is the day I will wear this coat with pride. Right, Kyubi Haim. After a moment of shock, thank you, Naruto-kun, said Q with a little choke to her voice. It will all be done on Wednesday. This kid is going places. I hope I get to see it through and help out where I can. After that, the Sandaime paid for everything they could take at the moment, and leaves a note to claim the rest at the Hokage Tower. He and Naruto then walked out with 2 bags of clothes heading for the supply store. As Naruto and the Hokage walk through the streets, They both notice a rather badly hidden boy following them, but they both shrug it off as an annoyance. Is this it, Ji-san? Asked Naruto as he and the Hokage were standing in front of what looks like a rundown store that had seen better days. The front was dirty, and the blinds in the windows were closed. The only thing that would even let you know that this was a store is the sign that says, Higurashi Weaponry. Yes, it is Naruto. This is one of the best shinobi suppliers in the village. How can this be one of the best? It looks like a rundown dump. I agree, Naruto-kun. It looks like a dump, but you can never be sure. With a frown, the Sandame said, Shinobi must always look underneath, Naruto. Never take anything for face value. Everything in this world has an underlying reason or cause. Always be thinking of that and always be looking for it. He then opens the door and has Naruto walk in. Naruto couldn't believe his eyes. Everywhere he looked were weapons of all designs and sizes, from the common kunai to the largest swords he'd ever seen. Naruto-kun, I will be ordering your supplies and equipment this time so you can see what you need to carry normally. After I am done, you may ask for anything else you may want or need. Alright, Ji-san, I'll make sure to listen, said Naruto while looking around the room. Just as the two reach the counter, a giant of a man enters from the back room. He had tanned skin, short brown hair, and obviously was quite serious, or that's what Naruto thought. Ha ha, Hokage-sama, nice to see you. What brings you to my shop? You haven't been here for years. With a smile and nod, the Sandame says, actually Kowski, I am here to equip Naruto-kun here for his upcoming Genin team. Is that so, Hokage-sama? Well, what can I get for him then? Asked Kowski, looking to Naruto. Well, first off he will need. As the Sandame continued to name off one item after another, Naruto decided to take a walk around the store to see what interested him for a weapon. He saw many things he had never seen before and never would have thought existed. Thankfully, Q was giving him a very detailed play-by-play of the weapons and their uses and weaknesses. After a while, he found a very interesting straight sword that was very well balanced. After thinking it over, he came to the conclusion that a sword of some kind would fit him the best, and this one seemed the best one to start with. He wanted to buy it, but before he could get 2 steps with it, Kyuubi spoke up. Not yet, Naruto. You need to master the basics and get a handle on your taijutsu before you even think of taking a weapon style. Why is that, Q? Can't I do both? I mean, hand-to-hand is great for spars and when you don't want to kill, but wouldn't I be at a disadvantage against a weapon user if I didn't have one as well? Normally that would be true, but until you get a handle on your own abilities and get decent skills in taijutsu, a weapon would only waste your time. Besides, if you train in taijutsu now, it will help later when you do take a weapon. Besides, you have barely begun your med-nin training. You can't take on too many things at once or nothing will get done. Even though Naruto didn't like it, he had to agree. He had too many things to master as was. To add any more now would be foolish. When he turns to place the weapon back on the shelf, he bumps right into a girl that was approaching him from behind. As they were falling, Naruto acted on pure instincts. He instantly released his full form and instinctively strained himself to see what to do next. Suddenly, as things slowed down to a crawl, he quickly wraps his arm around the girl's waist and, with a flick of his wrist, throws the sword in the air and positions her across his lap while he takes a kneeling position. Then, he raises his hand up towards the falling sword. The 2 older men were watching the whole scene with worry until Naruto began to act. To say that Kowski was shocked was an understatement. At first, it seemed as if his daughter had just returned from training and was heading over to talk about the weapon the boy was holding. Then they ran right into each other with a dangerous weapon in the mix. He almost had a heart attack until he saw the boy begin to move. It was like water, so quick and fluid. Those are the movements of an experienced fighter. How could he already be at that level? Sarutobi said he was just joining a team. And what's with the changes? His chakra also just went through the roof. I thought this kid was a genin, but that's a high Junin chakra signature. This is when he notices the blonde hair, blue eyes, and whisker marks. Only one thing came to mind, Kyuubi. The Hokage, on the other hand, was a little more interested in the change in the boy's eyes. What was that just now? For just a moment, Naruto's eyes turned red. I'll have to watch him closely from now on. This could be another power from the Kyuubi. Maybe it's a dujutsu of his own. That would be some leverage with the council indeed. As things began to return to normal for Naruto, he reaches up and catches the sword by the handle only to look at it strangely as he thought, how did I just do that? Then he looks down at the blushing girl in his lap. Sorry about that. I was a little too deep in thought and didn't realize you were behind me. My fault, said Naruto with a smile. Naruto took a moment to study the girl in his arms and could only think, cute. She was about the same height as him, with light brown hair in two buns on top of her head as well as chocolate brown eyes. Her skin was flawless with a light tan, and her current blush was just so cute. She had an athletic build and wore a pink Chinese shirt, blue pants, and the classic shinobi equipment. She also seemed to be carrying two scrolls on either side of her slender hips. You can stop leering now, Naruto, came Kyuubi's snippy comment. There's nothing wrong with looking cute, said Naruto, a little too playfully. Am I having a bad influence on him? He is getting a little too interested in girls. I'll think about that later. He was able to activate it on his own, if only for an instant. It was by instinct, but it was much sooner than I thought it would be. I will have to tell him about it soon and begin training him to control it. Hopefully, it can wait until he finishes with relearning the basics. After about a minute or so of the girl just lying in his lap, Naruto coughed slightly saying, I know it was my fault and all, but you can get up now. In an instant, she was up and a good 10 feet away from him, blushing worthy of Hinata. As Naruto placed the sword back on the stand, he could hear the boisterous laughter of the store owner and the yell of the girl. Stop laughing too-san, it's not funny, screamed the still red girl. Maybe not to you, Tenten, but to me it's hilarious. As the newly named Tenten was fuming, Naruto made his way over to her. Sorry again about that. I really need to pay better attention. I'll be sure to do better next time. That's alright. I space out about weapons all the time, so no big. You did save me after all. She finished with the blush growing stronger. I was the one to put you in that position in the first place, so it really wasn't a rescue. More like solving the situation I started. Well, whatever you think, but still, thank you. By the way, that was really cool how your face changed. Is it a Kekai Genkai or something? You could say that. I've been this way for a while now. Naruto, come here so we can go over the equipment with you, called the Sandaime, wanting to get the kids away from that discussion. Both Naruto and Tenten approached the counter to see the still smiling Kousuke and Hokage. The moment Tenten saw the Hokage, she instantly began bowing while praising him. As all three men sweat drop at the girls overacting on the matter, Naruto approached the Sandaime to ask. So Gigi, what are we setting me up with? Both Tenten and her father were slack-jawed at the blatant disrespect for the Hokage and were both thinking along the same lines. This boy is either really powerful or just stupid. He's cute, but no one gets away with speaking like that to Hokage-sama, thought Tenten, thinking of all the times the Hokage had silenced the green horrors for using similar familiarities in public. I heard of the Hyuga incident that he pulled, so I knew he had brass balls, but this kid is suicidal. I've known the third for years, and even I can't get away with calling him just Sarutobi. Most people that do what he just did get D ranks for a year. The Sandaime, completely ignoring the tense atmosphere in the room, motions for Naruto to come over and for Kousuke to explain the setup of the equipment. After the shock of the aloof attitude of the venerable Hokage passes, Tenten takes a position next to the counter and Kowski begins. Alright Naruto, this is the top of the line supply pouch. It has 6 equal-sized compartments and one large one in the back. The first one in the upper left holds 2 basic-size scrolls, the ink bottle, and a brush. The slot below that is empty for your use. The middle top has 10 smoke bombs. The middle bottom slot has soldier pills, blood pills, and nutrient pills. These pills. Sorry to interrupt, but I already know about the types of pills, their makeup, and the uses, said Naruto flatly. Oh, so you're already that far? Asked the Sandame. The pills are in the first scroll along with basic anatomy and body structures. Making them is covered later though. What is he talking about? Asked Kowski. Naruto-kun is training to be a medic nin, replied the Sandame with a small smile. So that's why you wanted the med supplies. Correct. Kowski-san. Tenten, trying to be respectful, remains quiet in the discussion but it's obvious she has questions. Both Naruto and Tenten seemed to decide to lightly talk to each other while the 2 older men conversed. So you're a new genin just joining a team, and you're training to be a med nin? Asked Tenten with awe in her voice. Yup. I would guess you're a little older than me and a little more experienced too. Replied Naruto. You really think so? Well yes, I've been a genin for about a year now and have been on some C-rank missions already. My teammates and my sensei are a little weird, okay really weird, but they are really strong and I can count on them. The 4 of us have been through a lot and are still here anyway. That sounds cool. I hope my team and me get along that well. I don't meet them for 2 more weeks. So you're going to be a med nin? I'm a weapons specialist myself, being the daughter of a weaponsmith helps out a lot with that. Well, my mother was a medic nin. I'm just starting because it's what she wanted, but it will be a while before I can get anywhere with it. I just hope that I can do it. With your mother to help you, I'm sure you can do it. Plus, if you ever take a weapon, let me know so we can spar, said a smiling Tenten with a wink. Yeah, I'm sure her being here to help would be good, but I've never met either one of my parents. The only reason I know about my mother at all is because Ji-san told me yesterday. After a pause, I'm sorry, Naruto, my mother is gone too. So I know how it is. She died in the Kyuubi attack before I was even a year old. With a slight wince, it's alright Tenten, you didn't know. Before Naruto could get any further, the Sandame called him back over to finish the explanation of the weapons. Kowski was watching the boy, carefully thinking while Naruto approached, is this really the Kyuubi kid? I heard he was a real dunce and the dead last of the academy. If that's true, how can he be a med nin in training? Most can't even think about being a medic until they reach Chunin. I'll have to keep an ear out. Now where was I? Oh yes, the pills are here as I said before. In the upper right is the slot for your kunai. It has a special material in it that will not cut or poke through. Next is the bottom right. It holds your shuriken. Lastly is the large compartment in the back. It is for whatever you can fit there. We also have a new leg holster for you. The Hokage has also asked for extra equipment to be set up in a duffel bag for you so you can refill your supplies as needed. Will you need anything else? After going over everything with Q, Naruto decides on a few other items, but first he wanted to know about the med supplies they were talking about. After a confused look past Kowski's face, he left for the back room for a moment. When he returned, he was carrying a medium-sized gray box. Naruto couldn't help but think that it reminded him of the boxes that he's seen people use for fishing. Hokage-sama told me that you're going to become a medic nin, so he asked if I had any med nin supplies like what are issued at the hospital. This one is what they issue at the hospital to third-class nins and up. As he said this he unclips the top to reveal that the whole front of the box can be opened like a toolbox to reveal everything you could need, from bandages and salves to surgical tools and sterilizers. I hope you won't hurt yourself with this. It has several sets of supplies. If you need a refill on anything, you can get it at the hospital. Thank you, this will really help with my studies. The other thing I wanted to know about was if you had a belt to hang all this on as well as straps for this scroll, asked Naruto as he pulled his family scroll out of his current pouch. Both Tenten and her father were both mesmerized by the scroll's case. After a moment, Kowski comes out of it and replies, "Of course I do, give me a moment." He comes back a moment later with a dark black belt that seems to be two belts crossing one another with a large silver belt buckle with a leaf symbol on the front. For a moment, Naruto thought it was two separate belts until Kowski pulls on one to tighten it. This belt is designed to attach to your hip with this section with a buckle and then have your equipment hang off of this one here. The two different sections allow your supplies to move with you and not throw you off balance. And this, Kowski then holds a tube of some kind with a strap on the side. As the top of the line straps we have. Just let me fit them to your scroll case and then you can attach it to either your belt or your leg like a holster. Naruto looks to the Sandaime, and with a nod, he replies, "Of course, thank you, and do you have any small pouches that I could hang off the belt?" "Of course, how many would you like?" After thinking for a moment, "3 please." "Alright, here you go Naruto. These are the small pouches. 2 of them are divided into 2 sections and the last one is open." "Thank you again. I'll be sure to come back if I need anything else." While smiling, the Sandaime couldn't help but think, "Naruto, sometimes I think you may be too innocent to become a shinobi, but I always forget that your father was the same way when not on a mission. I wonder how far you will truly go." After gathering all his new equipment, Naruto and the Hokage began to head for the door. "Hey boy, don't forget your duffel bag," calls Kowski while holding the rather heavy-looking bag. "Sorry, I forgot about that after talking to Tenten," says Naruto with a small laugh, which earns another blush from Tenten. He quickly walks back to the duffel while pulling out his scroll. When he pulls out the actual scroll, both the weapon users are again at a loss for words as Naruto sealed the duffel. "Whhoo. How did you do that? You didn't even draw a seal. Can you teach me to do that?" squealed Tenten. "Sorry Tenten, but it's the scroll that does that, not me," was Naruto's reply. "I'm sorry young lady, but that scroll is a very powerful family heirloom of Naruto's. Even I don't know how it works." The Sandaime then turns to Tenten's father and says, "Thank you both for your help, but we really need to get going." Both Naruto and the Sandaime begin to leave the store, but not before Naruto calls back. "Thanks for all the help Ten-chan." This, of course, blazes the blush right back to Tenten's cheeks. That boy sure is a mystery. I wonder what else there is to know about him. He would make a great sparring partner. "I don't know Ten-chan, but you could always hang around him and find out," teased her father. "Maybe San, maybe," said Tenten with the blush still in place. Naruto was struggling to get his door open with all his bags in hand. It was not the easiest thing, but for all his effort he heard the satisfying click. "Well, that went great, Hukyu. Absolutely, Naruto-kun. I couldn't get enough of the joke of you letting me out and everyone turning whiter than the Hyuga's eyes. You also seem to enjoy your time with that Tenten girl," replied Q with a giggle. "I know, that was so funny, and now I even have 2 stores that will serve me." Tenten was nice. "Too bad all girls aren't like her, and you. Most of them are either quiet weirdos or screeching banshees like Sakura. Good for you, Naruto-kun. Now if only you could get another restaurant to serve you, we'd be in business. Now get ready, you have to be at the Hyuga's in an hour. You don't want to be late and have your punishment extended." "Alright Q, just let me shower and change." After his shower, Naruto put his clothes in the washer and sets out all his new gear, his old gear, and unseals all his stuff to sort through it and decide what to do. "Let's see, all this is hand-me-down stuff that I can drop off in the repair box on my way to training in the morning. I want to carry my current med scroll on me instead of sealing it so I can study it when I get time. The jutsu from the forbidden scroll I'll seal for now, at least until I finish with Iruka sensei. After this thought, Naruto reseals all his jutsu and med nin scrolls into the first slot of his family scroll, his duffel of weapons, camping, and survival supplies into the second slot, and a second duffel bag with 3 sets of clothes and some hygiene supplies into the third slot. Finally, his chest of money he seals into the fourth. He then places the rest of his clothes and some or the supplies into his closet before sitting down for a quick dinner. I'm starting to like other foods. Maybe I should see if Iruka sensei could teach me to cook. If you want, Naruto-kun, I could teach you as well. You cook? Don't you just eat like rabbits and other things you catch? I do have a human form, Naruto. Most of the time that I've spent in this world has been spent in a human form. It would be kind of hard to keep hidden if I had to be a 100 feet tall fox all the time. This also allowed me to learn how to cook fairly well and learn of humans in general. I did have to support myself after all. Really, I had no idea you could become a human. What do you look like? With a slight sigh, to tell the truth, Naruto-kun, I'm not sure anymore. For some reason, I can't change my form in this cage. Shape-shifting is one of the many abilities all kitsune and most demons in general possess, much like your henge. But for some reason ever since my sealing I've been stuck in this form. That's too bad. Maybe we can fix that somehow. Naruto said this as he was dressing in his new clothes. Maybe, Naruto-kun, I have been thinking about what you said about fixing this place up, and I wanted to try it tonight when you come to visit. That's fine. I don't think it's fair that you're stuck in a sewer anyway. I don't understand why it changed back from the forest after I left last time. I've been thinking about those summon contracts you told me about. What about them? You said that all it took was an exchange of soul fragments, a cage bunshin, and implanting the soul in the bunshin, right? Yes, but where are you going with this? You and I have our souls intertwined and your soul is already here, so what's stopping us from using summoning to let you out? Was quiet for a long time until, you're brilliant, Naruto. It will take some altering and a few tweaks on my part, but it's totally possible. I can't believe I didn't think of this. I'm glad I had a good idea. How long will it take? Good idea. You had an epiphany with this, Naruto-kun. I'm not sure how long this will take me. We are dealing with very old stuff, but I'm sure I can figure it out. After all, I was around when they first did this. Can I do anything to help? All you need to do is either learn the hand seals for the Kuchio's no Jutsu, or actually obtain a summoning contract to practice with. Either way will help greatly. Well, I'll look into that, but I need to get to the Hyugas. I really don't want to see what they do if I'm late. Naruto then stands wearing the same clothes as before, except both of his thighs were wrapped with bandages. He also clipped his new belt around his waist and hooks his new pouches to it. Then he attaches his scroll case to his left thigh while leaving his new supply pouch on the back right, places the 3 smaller pouches on the front right, and finally, he hooks his leg holster to his right thigh. I guess it's time to go. I'll be going deeper into the seal to start on the summoning. If you really need me, just try tapping into my Yuki and I'll know. See you later, Naruto arrived outside of the Hyuga compound with just 3 minutes to spare, only to meet the hateful glares of the guards and the strange feeling of being followed. I'm glad I've gotten the hang of suppressing my chakra. It would be such a pain to deal with the reactions my new looks would cause. Afternoon, I'm supposed to start my laundry duty today, said Naruto with a slightly embarrassed smile. With a slight smirk, understood, please follow me. The elders wish to speak with you before you begin. As Naruto followed the guard through the compound, he noticed that unlike at night, the Hyuga's home was rather beautiful during the day. Clean white buildings, gardens and flowers everywhere, and there was even a small lake and river running through most of the compound. Here we are. Be sure to show the utmost respect to the elders and do not speak until spoken to or ordered to do so, warned the guard. This sounds like a pain in the already. I can't believe that I'm going to be stuck doing this for an entire month. Maybe I should ask for a harder punishment. After this thought, the doors slid open and Naruto was ushered in. Once Naruto was inside, he couldn't help but notice the 7 rather intimidating people at the front of the room. The middle person, of course, was Hyuga Hiyashi, but the 3 on the left and right were all older. Ancient in Naruto's eyes and seemed rather unwilling to be there. Let's see, should I make the effort to remember their names? Nope, don't care. I'll just refer to these geezers as elders 1 to 6. Thought an irritated Naruto as he stared at the old men and women of the council. Naruto was quick to notice a pillow on the floor right in front of them by about 10 feet. After approaching it, he looked to them as asking, "Is this right?" With a nod from one of the elders, Naruto took his seat with an almost unheard sigh. After his entrance, the elders began signaling each other with subtle body language and eye movements which Naruto caught after a few moments but decided to just see where things went. Elder 3, is this really the boy Hiyashi-sama told us about? Elder 6, he looks like nothing special. Was the Sandame speaking the truth of his lineage? Elder 1, his chakra signature is less than a genin. How could this boy have infiltrated our home or be who Hiyashi says? Fem Elder 4, I believe we should be silent and wait to see the outcome of these talks. If our clan head thinks of this boy as powerful, there must be a reason. Elder 5, I agree, just observe the boy. His equipment is immaculate, his muscles are tight and his sitting position is all of an experienced shinobi. The boy is ready to react to us at a moment's notice. Fem Elder 2, I doubt that very much. The boy is probably scared witless of us and I have heard that he is being trained by a chunin and has been spending time with the Hokage. That is all this appearance is. If you haven't noticed yet, the boy caught on to what you all have been doing from the beginning and has been deciphering it, came Hiyashi's calm statement. The room locked onto Naruto only to notice his unblinking eyes and the slight twitch to his face. Well, Naruto-san, have you been able to get much out of their conversation? Asked Hiyashi. Not much, Hiyashi-san. Only that it was about doubting me and trying to decide something. I am not very experienced with body language. Very good. Well, I am sure you know of the punishment we asked for, do you not? You want me to wash your clothes every day for a month. It was actually a surprise that you would ask for so little. Little. My clan consists of over 230 people, Naruto-san. You will not be doing this alone. You will be working with the normal shift every day. If we trusted the whole chore to you, half my clan would be without their clothing. I see. If it's alright with you, I'll begin my work now, said aboard Naruto. Actually, Naruto-san, I wish to ask a favor of you, requested Hiyashi. A favor, Hiyashi-san? What is it that I could help you with? Asked Naruto, and for the first time since arriving, truly curious of the answer. Well, there is something I wish to ask you, but first I wish to ask why you look different than the report I received implies, as well as the specifics to your intrusion into our home. After considering his words, Naruto replies, in all truth, Hiyashi-san, if any of you would have used those famous eyes of yours, not only would you know the answer to your question, but I would have never pulled off my prank. Elder 6 asked in complete indifference, what do you mean by that? I am simply suppressing my chakra to my bare minimal to hide my more demonic features, and if your guards had done sweeps of your compound, I never would have made it over the wall, let alone into the buildings. Naruto decided it would be simpler to release his suppressed chakra to its normal level. Not only do his more animalistic features return, but most of the council was finding it hard to breathe for a moment because of the sudden pressure in the room. With a slight cough, well, Naruto-san, if that was the problem with my security, I will add normal sweeps to the patrol. It has been a long-standing tradition to prohibit the use of the Byakugan while inside the compound for privacy reasons, but I think the guards can be an exception, said Hiyashi. You may also want to stagger your guard change and patrol times as well. If you have any pattern to it, you can easily get in just by memorizing their movements like I did, commented Naruto. Thank you, Naruto-san. I have to admit, the years since the Great Wars have made us rather lax, at least in regards to our home. Then with a deep sigh as his first real sign of emotion Hiyashi asked, now the favor I wished to ask of you is simple. I believe you know my daughter, do you not? You mean Hinata? Yes, Hinata is my oldest daughter and the heir to the clan. Yes, I know her. What about it? While you are serving out your punishment here, I would like you to help train her. All the elders stiffen at this. Naruto also catches the obvious sense of anger, surprise, and fear. What? Why would you need me to train her? She was better than me in the academy in a lot of things. I don't see how I can help her. We know the heiress has great potential and can become very strong, but something is holding her back. Said Fem Elder 4 only to receive rather harsh glares from her fellow elders. When my daughter was 3, Kumogakure tried to kidnap her. I was able to rescue her, but after that incident her confidence dropped considerably. She still showed great promise, but her progress slowed. At the time, I took to giving her compliments and praise to urge her forward. It worked for a time and her strength grew. At least until she turned 7, the year her sister was born. That year, I lost my wife and Hinata lost her mother. Her shyness and timid nature grew exponentially after that, and no matter how kind I was or how long I spent training her, she did not improve. I eventually took to being colder and harsh with her in hopes of bringing her out of it. To my disappointment, she slipped deeper until she became what you know now. I'm sorry to interrupt Hiyashi-san, but why are you telling me this? Asked Naruto with eyes like dinner plates. I must tell you, Naruto-san, that I knew your mother well. When I first heard that you were her son, I could not believe it. Your mother was actually the one who introduced me to my wife and was a great friend of the Hyuga. Now that I think about it, you act just like her. Even among the council, Hiyashi couldn't help but let a small smile slip as the memories flooded his mind. Really? You really knew my mother? Asked a skeptical Naruto. Yes, she was a very strong woman and was able to do the most amazing things. She taught my wife medical jutsu, and as I can see from the scroll in your pouch, you're following her footsteps, are you not? Yes, I just started yesterday but I intend to learn all I can. I hope to become a med-nin as skilled as she was. That is good to hear Naruto-san, but let me get straight to the point of all this. I wish you to train with Hinata in the hopes that not only will a training partner from outside the clan help her, but with your brash and rather flamboyant attitude maybe you could help with her confidence. I also hope that your mother's touch for miracles is still alive in you. Not sure how to respond to being called flamboyant, Naruto just replied, I don't know what I can do to help, but I guess since I'll be here anyway I could try. With a small smirk, Hiyashi said, don't think we ask this of you without offering something in return. Really? What would that be, Hiyashi-san? How would you like to learn Juken? This statement silenced the whole room. It was impossible for Naruto not to notice the tenseness of the elders and all the smells in the air. To say Naruto was pulling on Kyuzuki would be an understatement. As time began to slow as it always did when they talked to each other, Naruto heard, what is it, Naruto-kun? Can't you be without me for an hour? As Naruto gives Q the play-by-play, she was quick to begin sorting out the emotions of the group. What do you think, Q? Asked Naruto. The elders have a mix of shock, anger, and confusion. Hiyashi, on the other hand, seems totally sincere in his wishes. He does seem to want something else out of this, but I can't tell what he's planning. He doesn't have any malicious intent about it. I say take the offer. The Juken style is legendary, It's much better than what we could have hoped for, and from what I know of it, we can easily combine it with the skills I will be teaching you. To the elders and Hiyashi, Naruto seemed deep in concentration for a few moments until he locked eyes with them. This caused them to flinch noticeable. The slit blue eyes alone caused some amount of tension in people, but now it was easy to see the deep red tint circling the boy's eyes as if there was a second set behind the sapphire orbs. Your offer of training is much appreciated, but I must ask, why would the most powerful clan wish to teach their style to an outsider? Not only that, but the one that by all means is a threat to them. Hiyashi was silent for a moment. It was obvious that he was carefully considering his words. To explain, you must first understand that while our style is powerful, it is our Kekai Genkai that makes it the power that it is. Because of your lack of it, you could never truly master Juken to the level that we can. The basic forms and attacks you may learn easily enough, as well as the intermediate, but any of our secret jutsu need the Byakugan to be performed correctly. I myself taught your mother our style, which she combined with her medical knowledge to create a style all her own. Even though your mother avoided fighting as much as possible, she was feared by many because of how fiercely she would fight to protect her charges. Her use of this hybrid style is the reason, and I am sure that you could do the same in time. I offer you this not only because of my wish for you to help my daughter, but to repay a debt to Kira as well. If that is the case, then I will gratefully accept the offer of your training, said Naruto while bowing. Very good, Naruto-san, you will begin tomorrow at 2 p.m. and take the basic lessons with the children until 4 p.m. Then you will train with Hinata until 6 p.m. when she retires for the evening. You will then work with the others on the laundry. Don't think just because I asked you a favor that you will escape your punishment, said Hiyashi with a smirk at the end. Thank you all. I'll begin my chores now. With that said, Naruto left the room to be guided to the laundry room by a guard outside the door. Elder 3 quickly cut in. Hiyashi-sama, what are you thinking offering our teachings to an outsider? I offer them because to gain, you must give. You all sense the power in that boy. Just the blood of his parents ensures great power, but with the demons added to it, he could become a kami among men, said Hiyashi. Elder 1, that is why we don't need to add to it by teaching him our style. Even if he can only learn the forms, it still will greatly add to his growing strength. That is exactly why I am doing this. I would rather have that boy look upon this clan as the ones who trained and accepted him rather than the ones who allowed their members to beat him in the streets and throw him into a dumpster. Or would you rather him see us as enemies when he reaches his peak of power? The entire room fell silent until Hiyashi spoke again. The point is, he would grow stronger with or without our help. This way, we can bring him under our influence with kindness and our teachings. I doubt we could ever control him, but we could easily manipulate him for our means by earning his trust and friendship. This decision is final. As soon as he becomes proficient enough in the basics, I will begin training him in secret until he knows everything he can learn of our style. The elders leave the room with heavy minds, leaving Hiyashi to his own thoughts. Kira-chan, I hope you can forgive me for using your son like this. The elders in my clan are out of my control now. Everything we and my wife planned has fallen apart, and without the power of your son behind me, there is no way to finally fulfill our plans. I put all my hope in him. My daughter, my clan's future, and the fruition of all our dreams, are all up to him. I just hope I can win his trust. The power and friendship of a demon is my only hope. Just as Hiyashi finished his prayer to the dead, he took a picture out of his robes that showed a younger Yondaime, Kira, himself, and Hinata's mother in a beautiful field of flowers being married on the same day by the Sandame. It was late and the stars had been visible for hours already, but Naruto was still trying to relax and grow accustomed to his new bed. After so many years of his lumpy worn-out mattress, it was strange for him to sleep on a feather-soft comfy bed. His time with the Hyuga earlier this evening was also adding to this state of mind. After he had returned from the Hyuga compound, he was trying to make sense of what his life had become and what was going to happen next. Things just kept coming one after another, and it was starting to wear on him. How did things turn out like this? Just 4 days ago, I was just another boy in the academy trying to pass his exam. Then that traitor came along, and everything just went out the window. I guess when I think about it, I really should thank Mizuki Tem. If it wasn't for his betrayal, I would never have met Q, learned of anything I know of now, or even become a genin, but what am I going to do with all of this? I've become a demon, well, sort of anyway, at some level. That alone is a lot to deal with. I'm learning from Iruka-sensei as well as Q. I just found out about my family and the dream my mother had for me. Now I'm even learning from the strongest clan in the village, and all I have to do is laundry and train with Hinata. This is just too much to process at once. It's like I'm living in a dream these past couple of days. Just relax for now, Naruto-kun. All you can do is deal with one thing at a time. Continue with your training, follow the schedule one set up for you and remember to let Iruka know what you're doing. If you keep on working, you will be ready for your team in no time. Now get to sleep. You begin your training with the Hyuga tomorrow and I also have a new technique for you to work on. Thank you Q, you always can put things so simply. No, nothing about what has been going on is simple. We have much to do and even more to learn with very limited time. We will do it together and in no time, we will have everything sorted out. Alright Q, I will. Good night. After that Naruto slipped into dreams of the Suiten jutsu he would be learning, and learning them with a certain panda-like weapon user in a soak top. Naruto, if only you knew what was to happen in the coming years. I have seen it happen once, and I do not wish to see it again. All I can do is train and teach you all I can. I also need to keep an eye on the other humans. The Hyuga's offer of training was too good to pass up, but I wonder what else they want out of it. The training of their heiress can't be all. I know that this Hiyashi person has another agenda, we shall see where this goes. The next morning, Naruto woke up fresher than ever. Not even the cursed ringing of his alarm or the ungodly hour could put him down. After a quick breakfast, he headed out the door to start his day. So Q, what's first on this new training schedule? Well, first off, I was going to have you continue the morning routine you started yesterday. 4:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. Run as many laps around the village as you can in this hour while taking swipes with your claws to grow accustomed to them. Also, with every swipe, I would like you to extend and retract them. They need to become second nature to you. Try to add another lap every day and improve your balance while swinging. 5:30 to 6:30. This time will be used to practice your unique abilities with me in secret. We don't need rumors of the demon throwing fire now, do we? 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. You will use this time by alternating between punching and clawing a log. Starting with your left hand, you will punch then claw with your right and so forth for 30 minutes. Then switch hands and begin again. You are doing this to learn how to lock your muscles so as to not break your fingers while clawing something. After this, you will continue by kicking the log for 30 minutes per leg. As the dolphin said, try to increase these numbers daily. 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., you will be working on chakra control. Either exercises from Iruka, your mother's scrolls or me. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., ninjutsu training with the dolphin. Since I don't know any, this will be especially important since I plan to pay attention as well. 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., sparring with the dolphin. 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m., lunch. 12:30 p.m. 1:30 p.m. This time will be used to study your medical scrolls and work on the techniques in them. The main reason I'm so committed to this schedule is because you had 12 years to learn about your last body, but this time you only have 2 weeks to get a working knowledge of your new one, and as you know, After this schedule you are to be at the Hyuga compound to begin your Jiyuken training. Damn, I need a watch. Guess I better get started or else I might not finish, slave driver. In case you forgot, I can hear your thoughts. Just for that barb, I'm sending some of my power to your weights. In an instant, Naruto's tattoos light up and his weights increased from 40 pounds per limb to 60 pounds per limb. With a slight groan, he hit the ground in an absolutely comical fashion. After taking a moment to stand again, he began his run, not daring to incur Kyuubi's sadistic training wrath again. Several hours later, Naruto was just finishing up with kicking the claw-marked log for the day in Training Area 19. He was finding his schedule to be showing great improvements from the day before. The first time, he had barely got past 100 hits per limb, and today he was well over 150. He had to stop several times because of the pain before since he had never really put any real effort into hard-hitting taijutsu, but now he could hardly feel it. When Iruka walked into the field to begin their taijutsu spar, he couldn't believe the gashes and chunks missing from the log. I better be careful here. Before Iruka could say a thing, Naruto said in, "Sorry sensei, but because of a few changes, Q decided to rearrange my training schedule." Why would she do that? It's only been one day, said Iruka with confusion clearly on his face. We had to redo it because the Hyuga offered to train me in the basics of Jiyuken in exchange for me doing them a favor, and I'm supposed to arrive for training at 2 p.m. from now on, said Naruto, not stopping in his kicks for a moment. With a stupefied look on his face, "You're going to be learning Jiyuken? That is incredible, Naruto. To my knowledge, no one outside the Hyuga clan has been taught that. I can't believe your luck." With a sigh, "No, there has been one other that's been trained in it and I hardly believed it myself." It was clear that Iruka was waiting for an answer. "Konoha's Tenshi, Uzumaki Kira, my mother." "Your mother?" Naruto asked Iruka fearfully, for he understood how serious this could be. "When did you find out who she was and who told you?" "I found out yesterday when Ji-san called me for that meeting. He told me about my family and my history, mostly anyway. He wouldn't tell me who my father was. He said I had to wait until I get to Chunin rank." "Is that so? Does any of this have to do with you receiving training from the Hyuga?" "It would be easier if I told you everything from the beginning, sensei." Over the next hour or so, Naruto retold Iruka all he knew of his mother's history, clan heirlooms, and the desires of the Hyuga along with the changes to his schedule until it was almost lunchtime. "Why can't anything with you ever be easy, Naruto?" asked an exasperated Iruka. "I want to know that too, sensei. It seems that every time I start to get used to one thing, another one pops up." "So you're learning Jiyuken in exchange for training with Hinata as well as some debt to your mother, and these artifacts from your father are some of the ancient war tools you told me and the Hokage about. I wonder if this will finally give that girl a chance to tell Naruto her feelings, or at least give her some confidence. If she can do that around the boy that always makes her faint, maybe there's hope for her yet. I was never able to fix that problem in the academy." "Yes, that's what Q said, and if you could have felt her emotions you would understand what these things must be," said Naruto while cradling one of his weights. "Did you tell the Hokage about what the heirlooms are or their history?" "No, at the time I was too upset to think about it, and afterwards I decided that I didn't want it out in the open. I may trust Ji-san, but as the Hokage, he would have to tell the council about them and I don't want that, so I decided to let him think all the relics of the war were destroyed, for now, anyway. If you think that's for the best. Remember, Naruto, those items may have been used for a war, but weapons are not evil, only their users are. Now that they are in your hands, it's up to you to decide what they are, but you are right about those items. I believe it would be better to keep them a secret for now and be careful how you use them." Naruto could only remain silent and consider Iruka's words. "If you continue on training like we have been, it shouldn't be a problem, and I have to admit, Kyuubi's training schedule is pretty good. We will have you a trained shinobi by the end of the week, then we can start on other jutsu and your medic training, said Iruka with a sincere warm smile. You know, Q gave me the same advice that you did. What should we do now, sensei? If you're going to be a med nin, we are going to work on chakra control a lot more closely. Normally, they won't even begin training you in the medic program until you have high chunin control. How do I get that? Simple. Since you've already completed the academy control exercises yesterday, which surprised me greatly, I will let you practice molding your hand seals on your own time and get you started on a higher level exercise. Cool, sensei. What do I have to do? I'll have this beat in no time. All you have to do is climb a tree, said Iruka with a slight smirk. Huh, how is climbing a tree going to help? Asked Naruto, totally missing his sensei's smirk. I agree, with your claws, climbing a tree is simple. I think training in the use of foxfire would be much more useful as a control exercise, since you have the hang of suppression. At least, that was what Q thought. Later, sitting in Ichiraku Ramen, we find a happily smiling Iruka and a badly scuffed and bruised Naruto eating. What are you so happy for, sensei? I haven't finished the exercise yet, asked Naruto between bowls. After finishing his bit, Iruka looked straight at Naruto. I am happy for two reasons. First, you are coming along in your training faster than I could have dreamed. You will most likely finish the training basics in a few days, and then we can move on to more complicated things with the time we have left. And second, you forgot the bet you made with me after beginning the tree climbing exercise. Earlier that day, after making it 3 steps up the tree, the bark of the tree shatters and Naruto is launched at the ground for an unwelcome meeting. That hurt, was Naruto's groan from the ground. I suppose this training has its uses. Being able to scale walls will most defiantly be a help for you. It will also help in learning foxfire, since from what I can see, it will be a bit difficult for you. Oh Kami-sama, if you say something is going to be difficult, it will probably kill me. Aren't you exaggerating just a little, Naruto-kun? In case you forgot, you said, and I quote, your new senses should cause you some minor pain at first. Those senses nearly drove me insane. I even passed out from the pain. At this point, both Q and Naruto heard the booming laughter of Iruka from his seat. Stop laughing, sensei. It's not that funny. Ha ha, yes it is. You look like a rubber ball just now. Hey, I'll have this mastered before lunchtime. I even bet you I will. Oh really now, what's the wager? Asked Iruka, knowing full well of his victory. No male shinobi had ever completed this training in less than a day. Even the genius Yondaime had taken a full 10 hours to master tree climbing. If I win, you have to buy me all I can eat ramen. Iruka pales at this thought. The stakes were high, but in his favor. He had just discovered that his student was loaded, and he could finally have a little revenge for his poor wallet. Alright, it's a bet, but if you can't finish the exercise by noon, you will have to treat me to lunch every day until you get your team. Iruka loved scamming his student. Alright, it's a deal. There's no way I'll lose. By the way, you have a little over an hour. You better get started. Back at the stand, Naruto, after hearing this, had to hang his head in defeat. I can't believe I failed such an easy training exercise. You know, Naruto, by saying that, you just insulted the Yondaime, was Iruka's flat reply. Huh, how did I do that, sensei? Even the Yondaime, the greatest ninja ever seen, youngest Hokage and hero of the Second Great Shinobi War, took 10 full hours to complete this exercise at your age. Are you saying that the Yondaime was unskilled? Naruto again pales. Of course not. I can't believe this. If it took the fourth 10 hours, I'll be doing it forever. Now Naruto, this is not like you. I actually think you will have it mastered in 1 or 2 days. Really, sensei, is that true? It took me about a week to learn this while practicing 2 hours a day. With the progress you made today, I think you'll have the basic idea by tomorrow and be able to master it soon enough. Considering the training that you've done so far, I think you could have it mastered even sooner if you had more free time to devote to it. That's cool. I was worried there for a second. Naruto, when you try to compare yourself to the Yondaime, that can happen. Don't try to measure yourself up to the fourth's achievements. Measure yourself against your own. Always try to improve on what you have already done. That way, you will always know what you can stand to improve on. But sensei, if that's true, then what's the point of a training partner or rival? Asked Naruto with doubt. If you compare yourself to others, you never really know your strength. It's good to have a rival to learn from, but always remember that their strength is theirs and yours is your own and can't be fully compared to that of another. So that means that I should only focus on my own strength? Asked Naruto confused. No, what I'm saying is that no matter how strong you are, there will always be someone stronger, or better to say someone whose strengths are your weaknesses. But, that doesn't mean that you're weak either. How can I explain this? Let me put it this way. Take me for example, I'm an all-around level shinobi. This means my nin, gen, and taijutsu are all recognized to be at or above what's expected of a chunin. So basically I'm not weak in any area of shinobi skill, but there are definitely others that are far stronger than I. It's actually very common for a shinobi to specialize in one field. Let's take your classmates for example. Sasuke would be considered a ninjutsu type where Kiba would be considered a taijutsu type, and both would most likely be weak against a genjutsu type at this point since they've had little experience casting or dispelling them. This is the reason we set up teams to balance out each member's strengths and weaknesses. The 3 students and the sensei all compensate for each other so you are prepared for anything. After thinking for a long time and even letting his ramen cool of all things, Naruto responds saying, so you're saying that I should always aim to beat or better myself so that I can always be sure to improve, and that I should only look to others' strengths to learn from and see how to adapt my own style instead of trying to copy theirs. Exactly, Naruto. I couldn't have simplified it better myself. Now remember that you should always train yourself and your own style to combat anything you come across, not just aim to copy others when something more powerful appears. If you practice that, you will truly grow stronger, because you will have a style unlike any other and shinobi will eventually have to adapt to you. Hearing this, Naruto couldn't help but to think back to his longtime rival, and how the two of them used to act around each other. When one would learn a new taijutsu move, the other would find a way to copy it. When one would do a maneuver in spars, the other would learn it. It was always like that. Neither one would let the other have anything to themselves. It was how they always chased each other. Sasuke, were we really wrong to chase after each other all these years for strength? Were we actually weakening each other by not training together? Iruka, seeing the concentration in Naruto's eyes, decided to leave him to his thoughts. I'm sorry Naruto, but I'll have to cut training short for today. I need to finish closing the academy for the break and meet with the rest of the staff. Be sure to continue your training for the day and be on time tomorrow. All Iruka received in return was a light grunt before he left without another word. Several minutes later and about 6 more bowls of ramen, Naruto was ready to return to training. Ayame Nichan, can I get my bill please? Of course Naruto-kun, I'll be right there, said Ayame from the other end of the shop. Tyuki, hearing this, comes to the front of the shop. You're paying Naruto. I thought you came with that nice Iruka today. Doesn't he usually treat you to ramen? Ha ha, normally yes, but I lost a bet and now I'm buying lunch for the week. Really? That's nice of you. Well, train hard and I'll see you tomorrow, said Tyuki as Ayame brought the check. Here you go, Naruto-kun, train hard. Bye. See you tomorrow. We find Naruto in the middle of training field 19 waiting impatiently for Kyuubi to teach him a new technique. He was pacing back and forth as he listened to Kyubi mumble about one thing or another as she did some final checks on whatever it was she was teaching him today. Unknown to Naruto, a small boy was watching from the very edge of the clearing thinking. What's with this guy? He's just walking in circles like a goof. Naruto, being too preoccupied with his dreams of a super jutsu, doesn't even notice the badly hidden boy. So Q, what's on the list for today? Elemental Jutsu, Energy Blasts, Taijutsu, Energy Claws, Super Roars. Kyubi, being drawn out of her thought process, can only respond by asking, where do you get these ideas? Well, jutsu are just fun. The history I found on you says that you used some kind of a roar attack as well as fire and energy attacks are just cool. With a small giggle and sigh, Naruto-kun, I have already told you that I don't know any jutsu. I never had a reason to learn them, because my fighting style is honestly better and so will yours. If you want to still learn them, then it's your choice. I may learn a few as well. As for the attacks, the roar attack is one I will teach you another time. The energy and fire attacks we are actually going to cover now. Really, Q, I was just kidding before, but alright. What's up first? Is giving him control over fire really a good idea at this point? The first thing you will learn is one of the three main abilities of the Kitsune demons. Kitsune by Foxfire is what we will be working on today. Naruto was quiet for a moment as he sat on the ground and crossed his legs, then in a serious voice he asked, you said the three abilities of the Kitsune. What are the other two if Foxfire is one? The first of the abilities is to change our shape or alter as what many refer to it as. Much like your henge except, more. I won't go into detail about it yet because you are not ready to use it or most likely won't be able. The other you will be ready for soon, but for now let's begin with Kitsune Bai. This technique works by compressing Yuki until it finally bursts back out in the form of energy flames. To do this, you need to learn to feel the difference between your chakra flowing within you and the Yuki that flows with it, but for right now, I will send you a small amount of my Yuki to begin learning with. As Naruto began to feel the energy flowing through his chakra system, he notices that his seals were glowing once again. The strange thing, though, was that they were shining right through his clothes as if they weren't even there. Q, I thought you said that I couldn't use your Yuki yet. I thought it would hurt, but it only feels tingly, I guess. I only sent you a very small amount of Yuki. Just enough to make 4 or 5 kg bunshin, so with the seals taking the brunt of the pressure, you should be fine. I should be fine. Well, I guess there's nothing to do other than to try, but I wanted to ask why me seals are glowing and can be seen through my clothes like this. You know, for someone rumored to be so slow you ask all the right questions. Seeing Naruto's response of a deep huff and crossing his arms, Kyubi continued saying, your seals will glow whenever my Yuki is being used no matter the amount. Just as I told you before, because my Yuki is more powerful than your chakra, it literally pushes it out of the way and causes stress on your system. Originally, my plan was to have any excess Yuki flow into the seals to reduce the stress on your system, but now I'm sending the Yuki directly to the seals and allowing your system to absorb the excess. By doing this, I hope to speed up your new system's adaptation to the Yuki without endangering you. When drawing on your own chakra, there will be no reaction from the seals because there's not enough Yuki mixing with it yet, and I doubt there ever will be. As for the reason why the seals can be seen through your clothes, chakra can only be seen when in tremendous amounts, but Yuki is able to be seen most of the time because of its potency, so when it flows through the seals, it's only natural that they show. Is there any way to hide it? I mean, it's kind of a dead giveaway that something's up when I start glowing like this. As Naruto said this, he couldn't help but look himself over and marvel at the intricacies of the marks. Unfortunately no, there is no way to stop the seals from working as they are now, but it isn't like you will be using my Yuki on a regular basis. It will only be for training or extreme emergencies. Now back to what I was saying before, you need to learn to form the Foxfire first. You do this by slowly drawing out the yuki and compressing it in the palm of your hand. As you do this, try to keep it in a sphere shape. Several hours later, as Naruto lay panting on the ground as his seal slowly faded from sight, why is this so hard? I just can't seem to keep the flame together after it's lit. Well, I never really intended for you to get even this far today, so how do I explain this? What do you mean, you never intended? I thought you said you were going to teach me. I did teach you, didn't I? I just never intended for you to actually create a flame today. I just thought it would be a good thing for you to try. It takes a lot of control to use foxfire, but look. You were able to do it within a few hours of working with it. The small boy watching from the nearby bushes could only think, wow, this guy is the real deal. I knew there was something about him from how he talked to Ji-chan. With how well you did today, maybe we should continue. It seems we need to take some serious measures for this though. I knew this wasn't going to be easy for you, but with how far you have come today, I really didn't want to tell you about this until later, but now that I have seen how far you've come, I really want you to get further in this training so we can train in other areas. Tell me what? What do you mean move on to other things? I want you to master the basics of foxfire and a few other things before the teams are selected. That way, you don't end up killing yourself or others with what I'm teaching you. Foxfire is not something you can mess around with. Either you have mastered it, or I will not allow you to use it, so to accomplish that, I have a very special training method for you. Really? What is it, Q? Before I explain it, you must promise me that you will never use it without my permission, and follow every rule I give about it. Why? Is it really that important? If you were to misuse this training method, not only could you destroy your mind, but you could die. Now if you wish to know about it, you must swear on your Nindo. After hearing something this serious, Naruto couldn't help but to think twice. I swear Q, I always listen to you anyway, so I don't see the point, but if you think it's that important, you have it. Good, now tell me, what have you noticed about the Kage Bunshin? How does the jutsu work and how do the clones function? After a moment of silence, Kage Bunshin are made by leaking chakra into the air and using it to compress the particles in the air to form the clone. This is the reason for the puff of smoke. These clones are special because the chakra used to make them is then made into a simple coil system as well as a supply for the clone to use for jutsu. As far as I know, no other clone type is able to use jutsu. This alone could make Kage Bunshin a kinjutsu, but as you said, unlike regular clones that are only an imprint of you, the Kage Bunshin are given a piece of your soul to function and act as a link between the original and the clones. That's what the scroll said. Other than that, I don't know what else it can do. You mean that you remembered all that from when you first read the scroll? Impressive. Well, let me ask you this then. What happens when the clones are dispersed? I haven't noticed anything else. Of course, other than when I fought Mizuki and some retraining with them, I haven't used it that much yet. I thought you would have realized it after your retraining with Iruka yesterday. Alright, please make a clone Naruto-kun. Obliging the request, Naruto makes a clone without protest. Alright, now what do you want done, Q? Tell me, have you ever seen the bottom of the pond near this area? Of course not. Why would I have seen that? Good. Please have your clone swim to the bottom and stay there studying it for a little while, then dispel it. While that's going on, continue with the foxfire. Both Narutos wanted to know where this was going on, but just shrugged their shoulders and began their assigned tasks. Just as the second Naruto disappeared towards the lake, the small boy ran out from the tree line, stopping right in front of Naruto and screamed, "You're awesome. Teach me your skills and I'll become your disciple." Both Naruto and Q responded with the same response, yeah, you have to teach me the Warok no Jutsu that you're famous for, boss. Yelled the small boy. Boss was the only thing Naruto could think at the moment. You're not really thinking of teaching this little kid that useless jutsu, are you, Naruto-kun? Naruto-kun. Sadly, Q's voice fell on deaf ears. Inside the Sandame's office. As the man in the blue bodysuit rushed into the Hokage's office, he started crying, Hokage-sama, have you seen the honorable grandson? I can't find him. As the Hokage moved one stack of paperwork out of the way, he looked at the man and said, Ebisu, I believe that Konohamaru has been following Naruto for the last few days. The newly named Ebisu, hearing this, runs out of the office screaming, not Naruto. This is a disaster. As the man disappeared, the Hokage pulls out his crystal ball while thinking, I doubt Naruto would teach the boy anything dangerous, but it doesn't hurt to see. As the Hokage looks through his crystal ball, he sees Naruto teaching Konohamaru some basic chakra control after a failed attempt at the Warok no Jutsu. The Sandame was very worried about his grandson being exposed to that jutsu for its content alone, but the fact Naruto was having him do training that he shouldn't be doing for 2 years had the old man slightly off kilter. He was even more appalled by the next thing he saw. Not only did Konohamaru turn into the fuggliest girl he had seen in his 60-plus years, but Naruto corrected him by transforming himself into his own version, sending the poor man to the floor thinking, I swear, I am classifying that as a kinjutsu at least. On the outskirt of a training field, Ebisu had just landed to see Naruto appear out of a cloud of smoke. You get it, kid? Asked Naruto. Yeah, replied Konohamaru. The last one you did was great. You have it down, but I still want you to work on those chakra control exercises I showed you. The earlier you start, the easier it will be, trust me. Now let's get a soda, then we can work on a few other things. As Naruto and Konohamaru head to a bench, Ebisu couldn't help but think, this is the damnable fox. I can see Konohamaru has been working hard on whatever it is the boy have been teaching him, it doesn't matter. I am an elite trainer and will not let this boy corrupt my student. So, why do you want to attack your grandfather? What's your problem? Asked Naruto. Ebisu stopped right in his tracks at this point, maybe this brat has a use after all. I have been trying to find out the reason for the attacks myself and have had no luck. My name is Konohamaru. My grandfather named me after the village, so it should be easy to remember, but no one calls me that. They all just call me the honorable grandson of the Sandame Hokage. They don't see me for me. They see me for my grandfather and I hate it, but when I become Hokage, everyone will respect me for me and not my grandfather. So, that's why he wants the title of Hokage, thought Naruto and Ebisu at the same time. After scoffing, Naruto said, yeah right, what makes you think you could be Hokage? What? Was the shocked reply of Konohamaru. Listen to me, you don't become Hokage to be respected by people. The Hokage is someone that is the strongest in the village, but that's not all. The Hokage is loved by his people for his courage, dedication and above all else, love for his people. After hearing this, both Konohamaru and Ebisu are stuck to their spots. I used to be just like you, everyone in this village hates me for something that I had no control over. At first, I used to scream that I would be Hokage just for something to strike back with. I had no idea why they hated me until a few days ago, and even now I'm not sure if I don't hate them back for everything they have done to me. At this point, both of Naruto's listeners couldn't help but lock eyes with him and see all the emotions in his eyes. I was told by someone very special to me that you do not become Hokage for your own gain. You become Hokage to protect the lives and happiness of everyone precious to you. That means everyone in this village. It is my dream to become Hokage, but not for the power or the respect, but to have precious people, people that I can consider family. I hope that one day, I can really become a true Hokage like Ji-san, but I honestly don't know if I could ever truly let go of the pain this village has given me. I guess all I can do is become the most powerful ninja I can and see where life takes me. For all I know, I may end up a missing nin instead of Hokage, but for now I walk the path that I think will lead me to taking the old man's job. After Naruto was finished, he looked down at Konohamaru as if asking, understand? At his nod, Naruto stands and says, I need to get back to my own training now, and I think you should go back to that trainer of yours. Huh, no, I want to train with you more. That guy is useless. He always says his training is a shortcut to the title, but he never teaches me anything useful. You're just a beginner. You need to get the basics before you can move forward. Just remember this, there is no shortcut to being Hokage. It's a long hard road to achieve that kind of skill and the trust of your people. I will always be here to help you when you need it, kid, but to get the title, you have to go through me first. Said Naruto with force at the end. After a moment, Konohamaru responded by saying, who do you think you are lecturing me? Fine, I'm not your disciple anymore. From now on, we are arch rivals. Ebisu was just shocked silent listening to the boys. Looks like I was wrong about this boy, maybe he will be Hokage. I will see for myself how he acts. As Ebisu jumped down in front of them he said, Honorable grandson, you heard what that boy said, but he's weak and he isn't worth your time to fight anyway. Shut up, Ero-sensei. You don't know anything. Konohamaru barked as he turned to face the man. Naruto at this point was rather pissed, but just asked, Ero. What's with the Ero-sensei bit? Other than a large amount of chakra and a long list of pranks, this boy has no other traits that are worthy of recognition. You'd do well to stop hanging around this doby, honorable grandson. Ebisu said, while talking to Konohamaru and pointedly ignoring the blonde. Oh yeah, two voices yelled out together. Naruto continued as Konohamaru glanced at him in surprise. I'm going to be Hokage one day, and you're going to respect me. I know about your dream, Naruto. Ebisu said, with a hint of annoyance at being reminded of that dream again. He had just listened to it for 5 minutes. It was already quite irritating to hear Konohamaru always talk about it. But where he was willing to help the Sandame's grandson, he was annoyed that this boy would have the same goal. Even if the boy has some endearing qualities, I won't make it easy on him. But you have neither experience nor the virtues of a Hokage, plus I am well aware of the fact that you even have exceptionally poor skills for a shinobi, which are vital to a Hokage. How do you plan on becoming something that is clearly beyond your reach? Asked Ebisu. In the Sandame's office. As the Hokage watched Naruto talk with Konohamaru, he couldn't help but smile at how far Naruto had come. He also laughed out loud as poor Ebisu was thrown for a loop by Naruto's harem no jutsu and sent into a nearby tree, knocking him out. What an absurd jutsu. Combining Kage Bunshin with his own Waroke no jutsu, it would never work on any serious shinobi, but he could probably get me with it. As the Sandame tilted his hat out of shame, he watched as Naruto and Konohamaru went their separate ways. Later, after Naruto returned to Training Field 19, the clone that was sent to the pond was dispersed. Okay Q, I dispersed the clone, now what? That's it. That's all you have to do for the training method. Huh, how does this help? Asked a lost Naruto. Tell me Naruto, what is at the bottom of that pond and what it is like? Asked Q with a little taunt in her voice. Well, it's cold and really murky. I couldn't tell what was down there much at all. He still doesn't get it. Tell me Naruto-kun, if it was the clone that went to the pond, how is it that you know about it? After thinking about it for several minutes, Naruto not only realizes what has happened, but has his mind swimming with possibilities for this training. In a whisper even inside his mind, Naruto replies, I gained the knowledge and experience of the Kage Bunshin. Exactly Naruto-kun, because the Bunshin carries a piece of your soul with it, it's as if you were the one to go to the pond. This training may not work on physical training, but chakra control, jutsu training or even scroll studies will be just as if it was really you. This is incredible Q. I could do months of training in a few weeks. I could do anything. In a tone that easily reminded Naruto of the legendary power that Kyuubi really was, she said, "No, you will not. This is very dangerous and I won't have you tearing up your body again. You gave me your word to only use this method when I approved of it, and I will not have you use it so carelessly. Why Q? I could master anything with this. I could become Hokage and fulfill my dreams in a few years. Why can't I?" Naruto. Naruto automatically notices the drop of the kun in his name and immediately came to attention. If we mess up with this training even once, you and I will die, do you understand? Using this method will strain your mind to the very limits. Strain on the mind becomes strain on the body and we have our limits. If we don't take this step by step and give your mind time to adjust to whatever it gains, I just need you to listen to me about this, alright? It's new to me too. Shocked and a little unnerved by this, Naruto could only give a nod as an answer. I sometimes forget that Q is this millennia-old demon. She's always so cheery when I talk to her, but does she wear a mask like mine or is this really her? Ignoring Naruto's thoughts, well Naruto-kun, let's start with 100 or so clones for now. We'll have them split up and train in things separately and disperse them one group at a time. Without a word, the clones appear with a quick hand seal. After the 100 plus clones appear, Q sends them off to do their training. Alright, first off, you 20 go and continue with the Foxfire, you 10 go and practice the Henge, you 10 Kawarimi, you 10 normal Bunshin, you 30 chakra control exercise, as in tree climbing and any others you know of right now. Finally, you 20 I want studying the first med scroll and quizzing each other on it. Naruto, you need to head home and clean up. You need to be at the Hyugas in 45 minutes, was the commanding leadership Q demonstrated. Is it already that late? Do we really just leave the clones like this? It will be fine, Naruto-kun. As long as it's us that dispel them in turn we can take our time. Now get going. Without another word, Naruto heads for home to shower and prepare for his first day of Juyuken training. Just outside the Hyuga compound, Naruto is hit with a sudden pain in his head. Ah, SSSSSS, what was that? It felt like someone just Juyuken slapped me in the head again, said Naruto as he stumbled slightly. That, Naruto-kun, was the 30 clones we sent to do chakra control dispersing. See what I meant about misusing the training? If it hurt that much with 30 clones working for 40 minutes each, just imagine if all 100 of them dispersing at once. Naruto visibly shivered at this. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. After a while of using this method, it won't hurt anymore with this few. Even if you were just a little more experienced with the normal use of the jutsu, this would be nothing. Besides, that was only a little more than 22 hours of training between the 30 clones. Well, that's a relief. I was thinking it was going to hurt that much every time. By the way, why did you disperse the clones already? Juyuken needs very accurate chakra control. I doubt they expect much from you at first since they are placing you with the beginners, but it doesn't hurt to have a little extra training. Besides, you needed to experience it at least once. Now replace the clones I dispersed and get to the compound. It wouldn't be good to be late on your first day. Naruto arrived at the compound with about 10 minutes to spare. He was met at the gate by a guard and was guided to the training field. He was sure to pay attention to the layout so he could find his way on his own. He also noticed he was still getting quite a few glares from the Hyuga, but these glares were different than the ones from the villagers. It was as if they were glaring at him and not at Kyuubi. These people seem to be angry at you for another reason. They don't seem to hate you for me. They seem to dislike you for the prank you pulled. Understandable. Is that so? I never thought so many people could hate me and not you. Was Naruto's sarcastic remark. Well, if that's what I get for trying to help, you're on your own for this one. I'll see you later. Oh, by the way Naruto-kun, we will talk later about you teaching a child that jutsu of yours. Naruto knew that Q wasn't really mad because she still used the kun suffix in his name, but the thought of what she meant by the jutsu he taught to Konohamaru, she was probably just using it as an excuse to get a nap, but Naruto decided to worry later. He was actually looking forward to training on his own without her help after so long. He wanted to see what he could do on his own. Well, here you are. Practice doesn't start for another 7 minutes. You may want to be more punctual next time, was the comment from the guard with a slight edge to his voice. Also, be sure to scrub the clothes well tonight and don't slack off. TEME, was Naruto's reply in his head. Well, since I've got some time till practice starts, I might as well see how much I've improved with the Bunshin training. With this in mind, Naruto walked up the side of a nearby tree until he's hanging upside down from a limb. Then, after finding this incredulously easy, he continues by trying to compress the foxfire orb faster with his right hand. I guess the clones really work. It was taking him much longer to form an orb than it did before. He figured that at the rate he was going, it would take an entire 6 minutes to fully form it. What's wrong? It only took seconds before, so why so slow now? Did you already forget? Spoke Q's sleepy voice. Before you were using my pure Yuki, so of course it took so little time. Now though, you have to pull the small amounts of Yuki from your own chakra to form the orb. And not very well. You're mixing far too much of your human chakra in, which is slowing you down. Focus on pulling out the Yuki instead of speed and it will get faster. Naruto, taking Q's advice, decided to continue and made sure not to ignite the orb. He just continued summoning chakra into the finished ball, then releasing it back into his system. He was sure that if he could get faster and more skilled with creating the orb, then making the fire last longer would become easier. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get the fire to last more than a few seconds. It was as if after the fire was ignited, it was trying to escape from him. This is exactly how the other students and the sensei found him, with Hiashi close behind. After a faintest of surprised look crossed his face, Naruto, don't you think it's a little foolish to train in such a difficult exercise before your Jiyuken lessons? This boy has already come this far. That skill in tree climbing is Chunin, thought Hiashi. The sensei and the other students were in awe of the display. The level of control was usually not seen until advanced Jiyuken. Most of the intermediate students that were already on teams couldn't do that. Even though Jiyuken focuses on chakra control in the hands, tree climbing was still rather difficult at first for a Hyuga. Naruto decides to take a moment to study the people below him. The sensei was an elderly man, probably in his late 60s from the look of him. The students seem to all be between 5 and 6 years old, and of course Hiashi is the same as always. Long black hair, pale eyes, serious face no matter how soft he speaks, and the same plainly colored robes. In reality, this description could be applied to almost all Hyuga. Normally yes, Hiashi-san, but I've already had a break today just before I came here, so I should be fine, said Naruto, trying as hard as he could to copy Hiashi's tone. Very well, Naruto, this is your sensei, Hyuga Kyuju. He is a veteran instructor. He will be teaching you the basics of Jiyuken, and once he believes that you are skilled enough in them, he will pass you on to me to continue your training, said Hiashi. Stepping forward, Kyuju said, first off, I would like a little information on you, Naruto-san. I will ask you to perform several things for me. Depending on how you do will determine if you will start on forms and kata, or if you will need more chakra control beforehand. All right, sensei, what would you like me to do? Asked Naruto. First, I need to test your reflexes, speed, and strength. For this you will spar using your own style against an experienced Jiyuken user. This spar will be taijutsu only. No weapons, chakra usage, or kekai genkai. As he finished speaking, a slightly older boy walks into the group. He wore the classic cream-colored jacket with the Hyuga symbol, black shorts, and long black hair tied at the end. He also has his right arm and leg bandaged. Finally, he wears the classic shinobi equipment. Neji-san, thank you for coming, said Kyuju. Naruto, this is my nephew, Neji. He has been a genin for almost a year now, and will be your sparring partner for this match. He is very skilled in Juyuken, and by using this spar to observe the true use of our style, I hope you will be able to adapt to it sooner. To my knowledge, the only other time you have seen our style is when you were attacked in the street. Is it not? Asked Hiashi. Yeah, that's my only time seeing it. Naruto turned to Neji and gave a polite bow. Thank you for the match, Neji-san. I hope to prove at least a slight challenge for you. All Neji gives in return is a slight snort and begins to walk to his starting position. I do not see why this guy is so special to be taught by our clan's head. Fate has already determined my victory here. Showing their disapproval of Neji's behavior, both adult Hyuga give him a mild glare. Naruto, on the other hand, just begins suppressing his chakra and takes his position opposite Neji while everyone watches the changes he goes through. His hair returned to pure blonde, his whiskers shrunk from the jagged marks they were to 3 little lines per cheek, and his pupils rounded once again. Hiashi couldn't help but ask, Naruto, why are you suppressing your chakra again? You do not need to hide yourself here. Sensei said that we're not allowed to use chakra here. My body naturally draws on chakra to enhance itself. If I didn't consciously suppress my chakra, I would be breaking the rules, said Naruto flatly. With another snort, chakra or not, you will still lose today. Fate has declared me the winner, said Neji while everyone else was still processing that Naruto could perform Junin suppression techniques and instinctually perform enhancement techniques. What is with this guy? He's been cold ever since I got here, thought Naruto. I've seen this before. It's common for humans that have had hard or tragic lives to place the blame on fate or some other power they consider outside their control. This way, they can ignore their own fault or feelings of helplessness. If that's so, maybe I can shake him out of it with a little mind game. What do you think? I think that you're becoming more of a kitsune every day. Next thing you know, you'll be seducing women and stealing for the challenge of it. Yeah, wait, I'll do what now? With a slight blush flashing across his face, Naruto replied, really now? While taking a loose stance. If fate has decided, I guess then there's no point in trying, is there? My ears tell me that you can already see the truth in my words. You can save yourself the humiliation by choosing to back down, but your stance says that your words don't carry your intent. All the Hyuga were well aware of Neji's unique views on fate and life, but most tried to stay away from the subject, too afraid of igniting his temper. Even though Neji is only a genin, he's still a rare prodigy, and even most of the Hyuga Chunin lose to him in matches. This is the reason he was chosen for this, to fully test Naruto's limits against an opponent clearly superior, but Hiashi also wished to see if Naruto really held the same power for miracles as his mother. After hearing this, all Naruto could do was snort and say, if fate has decided that I will lose today, then you just contradicted yourself by saying I could choose to back down. Neji, for his part, was thrown off balance by this. One moment he had this boy under the Hyuga glare and had him ready to run away. Now the very same boy is talking back as if he knew anything of the fate of the world. What would a fool like you know? You just said fate has decided that I will lose today. Fate is a straight line that is a predetermined course for our lives and nothing you do can change that, right? Correct, said Neji, with just a slight shake to his voice. Then, by you saying that I could choose to back out of this fight, you have just said that I can change my fate by my own choice, said Naruto flatly. After composing himself, Neji replied, either by surrender or by my hand, you will lose today, that is the indestructible path of fate, with the veins around his eyes bulging from his anger. How dare this brat lecture me about fate? He knows nothing of life's hardships and is even receiving special treatment from the main house. He may be fated to that, but he will still fall before me. Not that I don't absolutely love this conversation on the philosophy of fate, but the fact is if we never start the match, it's impossible for me to lose. So if you want to prove this fate of yours, why don't we get started? Asked Naruto in a mocking tone, while releasing his chakra and pumping it to its max. This action alone unnerves everyone present. Not only was the pressure in the air increasing, but also the chakra is so strong that small pieces of dirt and rock are beginning to float in the air. The chakra being released was a darker blue than normal, not by much, but noticeable. Being able to see the chakra at all causes quite the commotion from the surrounding Hyuga. Neji, for his part, was unnerved greatly because when Naruto released his chakra, Neji had his Byakugan active to witness the flow of the chakra. What the hell is he? His coils are nearly twice the normal size and they're purple. Neji was trying his hardest to figure out what he was seeing or what could cause someone's body to change in such a way. The coils follow the same path as a normal system. The tenketsus are also placed the same, but normal ones are just a slightly darker blue to the Byakugan. These are so much darker that they almost look black compared to his system's color. It's obvious that it's a human system, just different, too different, and what are those markings that cover his body? They weren't there a moment ago, but the higher he pushes his chakra the more detailed they become. Wait, it can't be, he has 2 chakra pools. No, wait, there's 3. 2 large and 1 smaller but growing, blue, red behind the blue, and a small purple. What is this guy? Finally, as the pressure created by the chakra reached its peak, it began to settle out and find a balance as it found its way back into Naruto's system. Neji, out of either fear or confidence, which of the two even he didn't know, charged forward, palm raised, prepared to strike quickly and end this. When Kyuju saw Neji charge, he moved to stop the match before he was stopped by Hiashi. Why are you stopping me, Hiashi-sama? They're both far too powerful. Without the experience to know how to not hurt each other. Those boys could be killed in a match against each other. Just be patient, Kyuju. Our style has limited effects on Naruto. Just activate your Byakugan and take a look. Not one to argue with the clan head, Kyuju did as he was told and was shocked at what he found. Naruto was even able to recover from a Hake Rokujuyansho in under an hour. That alone tells me he won't die unless Neji means to kill him. You of all people know that our style can only kill 2 ways. In a solemn voice, Kyuju finishes the grim statement, either by cutting off chakra to the vital organs by closing at least 158 of the 316 chakra points, or by causing massive trauma to the vital organs. And that's why I know Naruto is safe. Cut in Hiashi as he waved towards the skirmishing boys. Neji's pride would never allow him to use the crude method of a simply striking. He's too proud of being able to see the tenketsus to not aim for them. But that is exactly why I'm trying to stop them, Hiashi-sama. We can't. With a wave of his hand, Hiashi silenced even the other Hyuga present. Even if Neji did decide to kill Naruto in this match, he would attempt to close the tenketsus to show off his skill, and I doubt that would work. Naruto's recovery time clearly shows that his chakra points take little time to reopen. Most likely because of the dense amount of chakra running through them. I'd even dare to say they would begin to reopen themselves as Neji was closing them. Kyuju, while not agreeing with Hiashi, can't help but watch. In his 40-plus years of teaching Jiyuken, he had never seen anyone recover from the Hake Rokujuyansho in less than 3 days, let alone an hour like this boy had supposedly done. Also, the boy's circulatory system was one of a kind, and for someone who spent their life studying them, it was just too tempting. He just had to see more of it. Naruto and Neji continued their match that had almost become rhythmic to those who watched it. Strike, dodge, move back, circle, strike. Let's see, the last time I fought against a Hyuga, their palm strikes used a strange chakra manipulation that caused my arm to go numb. I wonder if it comes from some kind of medical chakra. I didn't see them use any hand seals, so it's safe to assume that it must be their basic attack. If that's true, it would be best to keep my distance. With his strategy set, Naruto took to evading each of Neji's strikes with a good amount of space. Naruto was finding this no easy task though. Neji was not just any opponent. Even with his enhanced speed and senses, Neji was still pushing him back like it was nothing. Left, right, low strike, spin, brush by it, jumps back. It continued like this for almost 10 full minutes. Neji was even smirking. Naruto found this strange, because Neji had yet to land a single hit. That's when Naruto realized it. He's testing me. He's testing me. He isn't trying to hit at all. He's just increasing his speed little by little until he finds my limit. How the hell is this possible? I shouldn't have this much trouble with a genin. After all my training to this point, I can't beat a genin. Not with what I've become. He shouldn't be able to do this. I'm a demon. What am I going to do? He's pushing me back and I'm doing all I can to not be hit. I never thought Naruto put so much faith in the power he's gained. I better set him straight. If he starts to rely on abilities alone and ignores the skill to use them. When Q began to speak, it surprised Naruto enough for him to get grazed in the side by a strike. I told you, Naruto-kun, that power alone means nothing if you don't have the experience to use it. You may be physically stronger and faster, but you have a long way to go until you can fight this guy with a handicap. He has years more experience than you and you have a lot more training to do. SSSSSs, what do you mean handicap? I released my chakra already. I'm doing everything I can to just avoid him. At this rate, I'll be face down in the dirt. Baka, you're still wearing 240 pounds in weights. If you drop them, you wouldn't be having this much trouble. It seems that I may need to step up his Kage Bunshin training. Even with the training we've already done, he's further behind than I thought. Many of his basic skills are less than what they were before the changes. The Bunshin are our only hope for him to gain enough control in time for his team. Hearing Q in the back of his mind, he barely dodged a vicious strike to his head. I lost my head, didn't I? It's just like with the 3 Hyuga that night. I let myself get taken in by anger and power that wasn't even mine. It cost me last time too. I tried to use something I wasn't ready to control, or even had the right to. Okay, if that's true, I can't risk going any further with this. I'll just avoid him until I get him into a position for me land a killing blow and declare myself the winner. Neji, following up on his last strike, comes in with a palm strike aimed for Naruto's heart, but Naruto spins on his heel and ducks below the strike to get behind Neji. Naruto, while behind Neji, puts distance between the two of them with a quick back flip and lands in a ready stance as Neji finally spins to face him.